Carlo Wolff is a publishing veteran who writes about art, community topics, music, hospitality, and travel. He's a regular contributor to jazz magazine, DownBeat. He is the author of biographical memoirs of Cleveland concert legend Mike Belkin, internationally renowned architect Robert P. Madison, and the forthcoming biography of civil rights attorney Terry Gilbert. The principals of Act 3 are Jaime Lombardo, Ron Hill, and Jim O'Hare. Act 3 designs creative media for businesses and nonprofit organizations. Its principals have over a century of experience in connecting clients to their audience in ways that are meaningful and effective. They are the editors and publishers of the Mike Belkin and Robert Madison biographies, as well as the forthcoming memoir of Terry Gilbert.
I'm Carlo Wolff. I'm a writer and an editor who has worked in virtually all journalistic formats. For the past 4 years, I've been helping prominent Ohioans craft their biographies and memoirs. One of my publishers is Act 3. Act 3 is a creative media production company in Cleveland managed by Jim O'Hare, Ron Hill, and Jaime Lombardo. My first collaboration with Act 3 was publishing my biography of Mike Belkin, the legendary music promoter who brought Cleveland the World Series of Rock. Mike and I brought the project to Act 3. I stepped outside of music to help Cleveland's first Black architect, Bob Madison, develop his inspiring and provocative memoir, Designing Victory. Bob had been accumulating material for years and had a fabulous story to tell. For the past year and a half, I've worked with radical lawyer Terry Gilbert on Trying Times, his memoir of 50 years fighting the good, the essential fights. It too is inspiring. Whether the issue is wrongful imprisonment, free speech, the war on drugs, or Native American rights, Terry has worked for justice, always making sure to do the right thing. Jaime Lombardo, my editor, and I conducted extensive interviews with Terry at Act 3 and on occasion at Terry's home. The talks went deep. They also felt natural. We put the best technology to work, including Google Docs and Trint, transcription software that saved us quite some time when transcribing the interviews. Some interviews went very long. There were times that the latest technology didn't apply or work, however, so in addition to doing online research, we turned to school records, Terry's own writings, and newspaper clips, and even VHS tapes. I had to synthesize all sorts of sources, starting, of course, with Terry. I also had to research while I was writing, looking up things online in the middle of a sentence. Then I had to make sense of it all and make it all readable. Jaime is my third Act 3 editor. He's very logical and detail-oriented, which helps as I try to paint Terry's big picture. Technology helps us collaborate too, particularly in the shadow of COVID-19. Terry is by far the main source for Trying Times, but I also wanted to spotlight his wife, Robin, and his longtime business associate, Gordon Friedman. Interviewing them was rewarding and illuminating, and it added dimension. Terry's story is the story of our times, so putting his life in context has been critical. Backstopping his own accounts with online research and his own writings was time-consuming but necessary. I'm glad Terry's a good writer. One of the casualties of the novel coronavirus pandemic is the human touch. These days, communication is largely electronic and remote, and maybe more efficient. But I miss what used to be called the business lunch, not to mention in-person seedy pub gatherings. Terry and Robin have been unusually forthcoming, even about their personal life. They don't sugarcoat or spin, and you can tell that they're as proud of their home life as they are of their politics. We went back and forth about the title. You want it to be memorable and easy to say. You also want it to have multiple meanings and to reflect the content of the book. Trying Times does all that. Terry Gilbert fights to uphold American values, so cover design focused on the flag. Ron Hill's illustration of a burning flag symbolizes trying times, and it resonates with Terry's defense of Americans who exercise their free speech. Designing the interior pages requires attention to detail and selection of font, size, formatting, and the mechanics of page layout. The beginning of each chapter is an opportunity for creative design and reinforcing the themes of the book. Before we publish, we print 6 to 10 proofing copies to circulate among fresh readers for fact-checking and other editorial input. We have to get it right before we get it out. In the past, there were book launches, talks, and book signings. What forms those will take in the context of COVID-19 remain to be seen. But no matter what, this book will be out this fall, and you'll know about it.